Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good one so far. Well, welcome back to the podcast. And today I have got a beautiful guest all the way from lovely Newcastle. I'm going to be speaking to Nicola Price. She is a psychic medium and healer. And I first met Nicola many, many moons ago in Tenerife when I lived there. And she has agreed today to come online, have a chat, and tell us all about her special gifts, how they work, and how it is living in this day and age as a psychic medium. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. As always, like, subscribe, and please share. And I'm going to let you listen to the beautiful, lovely lady that is Nicola. Right. Well, hello, Nicola. How are you doing, my lovely? Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and I think it'll be really important for people to listen to the messages that are going to come about today.
Oh, this is something that I think fascinated me since I was really, really young. And a lot of people don't really have a full understanding of what your gift is or what it's all about or how it can help people. So, before we get into the swing of a conversation, would you just like to explain a little bit to the people listening about who you are, what it is that you do?
So I'm a psychic medium and healer, and I didn't always know that that's what I was. It happened at a young age. I was going to say about 5 years old. I used to have a imaginary friend that I had to feed every single day, every meal.
Ah,
And my mum had to do put all the food out, and if we hadn't got a plate for Ambly, she was called, I used to kick off. Even my dad, he's always been very skeptical, like even till I was about 26 years old. And he had to do it as well, so he actually followed along, and I think that's very important for parents not to judge children, saying imaginary friends, the fake. And I think that it's nice that parents accept that and actually push that for the children, and don't just like hoo-ha and say, oh no, that doesn't exist, that's not true. And I
yes.
think that when parents do that, I think it really does affect children, because they feel shame, like, oh, that's not right what I'm doing, so they will actually stop the gift, and that will stop them growing for future. So I think that's a massive thing that I'm really grateful my family didn't do for me. And I think that other parents should like take note about what children are saying, or how they're saying it without saying, no, that's not right, because you're telling them off for doing something that's natural to them. It's a natural thing that we're having
Yeah.
every as a child, and it comes up till about 7 years old, where that is like ability that everybody has, but then by 7 you actually lose it, or you grow with it.
That's funny you've said that actually, because my eldest, I think she's really susceptible to things like this. And she was going through a big phase up until she was about 6 or 7, till it started like settling down and like kind of taking a back seat. So, yeah, that's interesting you've said that.
Yeah, sometimes it can just be from judging from other people, outsiders, let's say friends. Maybe she's talking to other people, or oh, let's play this game with this person, or let's do that, and then
Yeah.
the friend talking about, like, you're a bit silly, aren't you? But I mean, that's what kids do, they're really honest and open. So it can also be from outside influence, not just family members in the household. So I think it's a good to be aware of that and let the children develop. um yeah, that's a massive thing. So that being said, obviously later on, obviously 5 years old, and then I used to go and speak to my family, friends, and start to come up with random messages. Oh, mum, you're separating. She was like, no, I'm not. And I went, yeah, you are. And I seen you
Ah,
get again, and you're having a baby boy. And I remember sitting in my grandma's house just randomly this day, starting to talk. And she was like, no, Nicola, no. And then a year later, they broke up, my mum and dad. And then she met Luke, my stepdad, and then they got together, and she was
oh
like, oh,
my
I don't.
goodness.
And I went, no, but I seen you got married. They got married. I'll never have kids. Yes, you will. Oh, Nicola, what's the baby going to be? A boy. I always seen it like years before. So sometimes it was just like a random message that you don't know, or feelings you have in someone's house, seeing random children walking around. I used to get loads of children. That was for me the biggest thing.
Right.
But it was not like, it was just a normal thing in my day. It wasn't anything different. It was just, I was a step to that.
So it
And
was
I,
just felt completely normal and natural to you.
it felt normal. It did scare me at times of like, I didn't know if the live or past. That very confused me, because for me it's just normal. So it was like, well, I just see you like anybody else. So it actually took me back and started to scare me and thinking, oh, this, I know I'm different now. So obviously I was judging myself, and obviously other people were like, oh, that's, you're seeing like that. But my mum used to see spirits, so she
So
obviously,
it's inherited down the
it,
line.
yes, it is, yes. So she obviously accepted that, and she didn't say, oh no, there's nobody in your bedroom. And then years later, when I grown up, she did say, yes, you were right, Nicola, but I didn't want to scare you, especially when you're going to sleep. So I said to Spirit, I don't ever want you to show me yourself again, because you're scaring me now. Are you ever going to leave me alone? And they told me no. So I said,
Gosh.
oh, just speak to me in my ear, or let me sense you, but I don't want to see you like that because I'm getting confused. And they did listen. So then years later, going on to the psychic things and passing on messages, it didn't come until I was about 16 years old. I had this boyfriend. He was crazy one, let's have to say that. He had a lot of issues, and he traumatized me. He wasn't the nicest.
Oh dear.
My mum said, you need to see a healer. I said, what's one of them? So she said she does like energy work, Reiki, I think she did.
Yeah.
So I went to see her, and I think it was about one time we had a session. And within the first session, I remember bursting out crying. I said, oh, my grandma's going to pass away. And that really, like, wow, took me back. And she said to me, get some tarot cards and bring me to your next session. I didn't know why she was asking me that. So I brought these cards, and I bought these angel cards. I still have them now, and I bought them when I was 16. And I bought angel ones because I was really attracted to angel cards, and they were just like colours of angels. And she went, put the book in the bin. So I'd never even seen the book, just in the bin. So anyway, she said, do me a reading. I went, what do I do? So she just said, tell me messages, what you feel from the cards. So I did the reading on the healer, and she was like, you have to see my friend. I was like, no, I don't want to do any readings. She was like, no, but you will. I said, well, I don't know what to do. She said, you're going to just get the phone on your next session and just speak whatever comes to your mind. So she forced me to do a reading over the phone. So I wrote down, I think, 4 pages of messages and spoke to the lady. Never met her, never seen a picture of her, nothing. I just knew her first name. And that's how it happened and unfolded. And then I got really interested in the spiritual world. Obviously, I was 16, I was older. So I got like crystals, and I think I had like an angel board, which is like a question and answer game. And I absolutely loved it. Started meditations, and then I become like really into that sort of things, learning more about it. And then I obviously moved to Tenerife when I was 18, and I was a really, really shy girl. I wouldn't speak to anybody. I wouldn't go into the shops and say, could I have that or anything? I mean, I was that shy. So when I went to Tenerife, I wanted to work as a kids entertainer, and I wanted to work as a kids entertainer abroad since I was about 13. And it happened because my family wanted to move abroad. I didn't. I wanted to stay with my boyfriend, but it didn't work out. So I ended up moving. Lastminute.com. They'd planned it for quite a while. I hadn't. It was like a few months just before. And then I got there. There was no jobs, because to go into work in animation, you had to come back to England to study to be in Thompson Rep, and then they had to send you out to wherever they wanted you. It wasn't like I could say I'm going to work in Tenerife. So I had to just look around hotels. And then actually one company really liked me. They took me on, and yes, I only spoke English at the time. He said, I'm going to take a big risk on you. So he took me a risk, and I was in this hotel. It was mixed nationalities, the first one, and I was only there for 2 weeks. The first the first day I had to be on the stage, giving out certificates, do a mini disco. They went, oh yeah, really, really good at this. I said, well, I used to work in nursery, so I did know the mini disco dances anyway, which helped me. And then from there, I got the confidence of speaking and being with people, new situations. So then it developed is people used to shake my hand, say, welcome to the hotel, nice to meet you. And then I used to start saying things without realizing. Oh, your bracelet happened to you. And she was like, how did you know that? And it used to just come out my mouth without me actually thinking, like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
So because it kept happening more and more, and I had to used to speak a lot at night time to clients before the shows, getting to know them, making them feel comfortable in the hotel. And that's where the messages kept coming. And they forced me, spirit forced me to do it. At the time, it was just messages, and that's when spirits kept coming through. So one of the turning points for me was, again, speaking to a family. It was just one lady and the husband. The husband went away and it was just her. And I said to her, oh, your sister in spirit in France is here telling me about a house and sending you love. And she's telling me all these things. She said, you've got something really special about you. She said, your eyes go glisten like an angel. She said, I couldn't have made it up because you don't know me, never met me before. And for you to come over and just like give me a message saying that my sister's with me, she's all right, that gave her so much comfort out of the blue. But like, she was so like happy with the message, and it changed her life because she was like, my sister and me were really, really close. But I don't think she could say goodbye at the end. Remembering a little bit about the reading, it was quite a few years ago now. And then it happened. The same thing happened. The husband had said the same. Can I have a reading? I said, yes, but you can't be with your wife. And I just kept hearing like, no. Something went on anyway that I couldn't talk to his wife about, and he just wanted that secret. So it kept happening that people used to find me. Oh, you're the medium that works in animation.
Oh my goodness. You can't write that.
So it used to just come around, and I was like, okay, then if this is what I'm meant to be doing to help people, I'll do it after work. But it just happened so many times. So I think that was over maybe like a period of a year and a half that it just kept coming about. So obviously me getting the confidence, I had practice, and then I started to charge. And then from there, people used to just be word of mouth, and it used to just flow around. And I think that's a natural way.
So it was a really organically grown thing.
I mean,
yeah.
It wasn't like promotion or anything like that. And I know a lot of people think, oh, well, mediums are all about for the money. But a lot of things is like, a lot of my readings weren't for money. Even now, I still do it. I did it yesterday in a waiting salon that this lady was having a horrible time, and I had to tell her some messages, and she was like, that's made me feel better. I actually can go home with peace now.
So do you find though that if you're just in a hair salon and you're randomly talking to people, do you find that the majority of the people are really thankful and grateful, or is some people like, whoa, what are you doing? That's freaking me out. Stop it.
I've only ever had that once. In the whole time that I've done it. Yes, they might have been a bit freaked out, but they've all cried after, given me a hug, saying you've changed my life, or you've made me feel peaceful. You've made me not question that there's not more to life. It's like, why would you do that? You haven't come, oh, can you give me money? Can you? No.
Yeah.
A spirit will only come through to me if that's really, really important to that person. I think that happened to you. Remember when you posted something to me and I was like, yeah, I'm listening to you, but we're not really doing that. But anyway, he's here and I want to pass on a message.
I know. I think I'd written something random on Facebook, and then the next thing, you're in my inbox just with voice notes going, I've got to tell you this, I've got to tell you that. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, thank you.
So spirit, I find that they find me. Another situation is, I was doing a reading, and at the corner of my room, I kept seeing this really young guy, and he was telling me how he passed away and about his dad and other things. And I knew it didn't connect to this to the appointment, but I did say, do you know a little bit about this? And I said, if you don't, that's fine, because they're waiting for the next appointment, because spirit come in a tunnel and they go like one by one, like in a line. Not always, because some can be quite pushy, just like people on earth.
Yes, we know that.
Yeah. So this man was saying, no, I'm not for the client. I said, I don't know who you are. He said, I need to talk to my dad. And I said, you'll have to tell me where your dad is, because I know you're not connected to any clients I've got, even in my list. So he said, the next day I said to my family, I said at the clinic, has anybody been around talking about their son that's just passed? She said, actually, yes, yesterday. I didn't know. I was in my home office. So I said, well, his son's here already waiting. So you must have heard at the clinic, and said, I'll speak to her and get the messages through to my dad. So I said, well, she can't exactly pass on the message. You have to put your dad in the situation of being able to speak to me. It turns out he lives abroad and he only comes back to the UK every now and then. So that happened a few times. He was back again. And it turns out that my stepdad said, I never asked you to do this, but please, can you see this guy? I went, is he the one that lost the son? Yes, I've been
Oh
waiting.
gosh.
Oh, his son was jumping up for joy. And we did the session. He was a non-believer. And I even put, this is so funny, I even put a little statue on my piece of paper of a minion with a golf club
Right.
right in front of me. Very particular thing I had to find. And on the session when I'd started, it was a video call, and he had a golf club right here next to his chair. Wow. And I went, you're already here, saying where you sitting, what your room's like. And it's just that, like, it's like something that's giving you, like, the way that the also his son had passed, it was a traumatic experience. So he said that's brought him so much peace and comfort to know that he's all right and he's safe, and the situation around the passing as well, because it was more information that he didn't understand, but now he'd given. So I think a lot of people that get them type of messages, spirits find me if it's really, really important in certain ways. And I think that's so special, because they're always wanting us to be happy in life and doing things that make us happy. So they'll make you have comfort to also start living your life, because that's what life's for. It's not about being sad every day about someone's passing. I know it's a grief circle. Obviously, I've gone through grief myself. But however, it's about having the experience and knowing they're there, but also living, because they want to see you living and doing things and talking about them things with you, you know.
And I think that's so important. And I think that's why I wanted you to come and speak to me today, because a lot of people that come into my business, most of them are like full believers, but I do get the small percentage of people that think it's not a good thing to be doing, that we shouldn't be meddling with it. And I always say to them, if it's bringing somebody comfort and allowing them to move on and to kind of have a release of that grief so they can go and live their life happily again, surely that can't be anything other than a good thing.
No, totally. I totally agree. And I do find, obviously, some people have suffered from immense grief and it can be really, really heavy. People aren't ready for messages. And I do know that. And this is why I also do one-to-one sessions with people. And I will say, we'll have a longer session. But if you're not ready, I will not do the session and the spirit will not come through.
Yeah.
I will lift someone's energy so they, like, let's say, mentally or spiritually prepared for it, because I don't want them to suffer after the session. Yes, they'll have grief or maybe things will come up, but they have to be in an okay state to receive the message as well. And I find once you lift people's energy and then connect, they're at a calmer space to be able to receive this message.
I understand that totally. When my mum and dad passed, I was so cross at them because I was like, I want a message now. I want it now. And nothing was coming. And I'm like, why am I not getting anything? Why is nothing being shown to me? And then as I kind of settled and got myself back together again and felt a little bit lighter, and then it was like, oh, floodgates, thank you.
Exactly. But it's called a grief bubble. So some people are very cross. Why have you done this to me? So they block off the channel. You have like some type of block on the top of your head that you know, I'm so cross. I don't want to connect. I don't want to listen anymore. And you don't believe, and you're sort of like annoyed because they've taken someone that you love.
Yeah.
So that's the more that I've done reading, I realized that happens, because I was like spirits as well. Like, why for some people there's loads of spirits, loads of clear messages, and others are like hit and missy. They're not really there, but it's more about energy for themselves. And that's over the years how I had to change the healing process, because people need different things. Not everyone's the same. So that was a big thing. Then my mum got poorly. So she said, if you talk to spirits, well, why can't you help me? And I went, well, what do you mean? What is healing? She was like, I knew I had healing from that lady, but I meant, how do I do healing? Like, I didn't know anything about it. She just said, just put your hands on my back. So I did. And my hands were shaking, they were burning hot. It was like electric volts through my hands. That's the only way I can describe it. And I was talking about these things. My stepdad was there as well. And I kept telling about all these medical things. I had no idea what I was talking about. My stepdad said, I do, as a doctor. He understood, and he actually helped my mum with certain things. She said she felt better. So that's when the healing element came forward.
Wow.
So it was like psychic, then the spirits came through mediumship, and then the healing, and then it all floods together. So, you know, when you have like a mission in life, you have one thing that you do,
Oh, yeah.
thing, and then it all comes together as
Yeah.
a big thing. But maybe at that time when I couldn't talk to anybody, I wouldn't be able to speak to spirits, no mind have the confidence to say a message, until I had the confidence to do animation, to push myself in that
So
position.
that was your training, babe.
That's so I do find that people evolve and they understand, and things can sing in a different way. I think that's a big thing as well.
Not to interrupt you, and I know nobody will be able to see this, but I've just seen a flash, literally, of a person go right behind your head.
I can imagine, yeah. I've had that before. People
I'm
like,
so sorry the people can't actually see you, because that was just clear as day. Whoom, right past you.
you're waiting, like, can I not just talk now?
Oh, bless you.
Funny.
So I've obviously met you in Tenerife many, many years ago now. And I know back then you had a waiting list of people that
Yeah,
were wanting to speak to you. And now you've been back in England for 5 years now, and things are just going fabulously from what I can see from your social medias. And
yeah. I think
you're
that,
putting so much good stuff out there for people.
thank you. I think it's important to, like, I did the daily card for years, and it was a confidence thing again. I think definitely connection is about confidence in your abilities, confidence in yourself, because that is a massive trait that you have to. Also, it's very delicate, the message that you pass on to someone. You've got to be able to have the confidence to share them, but also the compassion in the way that you say them as well. And that's why I kept doing the daily cards. It's just a little bit of comfort, or I might connect to one person, I might connect to 10 that day. And sometimes it actually connects to a spirit. I think I've had one about a few weeks ago. It said, I've actually just started that and I've just lost my daughter. So little things like that is just like a little tool of comfort, or tips, or help about anxiety, or how can you lift your energy, things that you need to do and help yourself as well. It's also about us acknowledging that as well.
But you're so busy helping other people, which is fantastic. You are an absolute earth angel. I do believe that. Um, how do you keep yourself good? Because is it not tiring having like a stream of spirit behind you constantly saying, I've got somebody I want you to talk to?
So I think it's, again, boundaries and control, and that's taken me a long time to do it. So when I was in Tenerife, when I met you, I obviously worked in animation and did that on the side, and that helped me be happy, because animation was positive, it was happy, doing shows, making people feel happy. And then obviously you have the connection to spirit, and sometimes it's not always really positive things, because the way that someone's passed, especially children, get me the most. And that, so I need something in my life that makes me happy to balance out the sadness, because I've got to be at very, very high vibration to be able to connect and give the best of myself to the others, and also control the spirits as well, because they can be quite draining if there's a lot of them. Because sometimes sessions could be like 28 spirits within a session, could be more, less. Because as soon as they've met you, like, oh, I want to know that I'm all right, I'm here, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And they've been waiting so long, they want to like say hello. Everybody wants to say hello, like in a room. So I think that's very important, to always lift your vibrations at the same time. And then I was a wedding planner, so the weddings were like really happy, high vibe, and then doing the readings on many occasions, trying to like, oh no, I'm just going to go full-time to media, I'm so busy. But it never really worked out, not because of the people, because my soul craves something more for me, as well as helping everybody. And even on weddings, a lot of brides and family members got messages.
Oh, bless you. I hope you didn't make them cry before they started walking down the aisle. Could you imagine?
No, I've had after. I did actually have one lady passing messages as she was getting ready, and she was so like happy, and I think she had a lot of things about this family members. And she was like, oh my goodness, I feel like they're buzzing because they're with me. I know that I'm not alone. And that was so special. And I normally wait until later on or at a meeting
Yeah.
and then through. But I think that's just a comfort in a special time that someone needed that, like, oh wow, my dad's seen me, I think that was definitely a positive thing. And then when I've come back to England, trying to do meditations or more walks, while caring for my family as well, and having that balance as well.
Yeah, I
It's
understand that.
very important.
It's the same for me, I spend all day doing what I do, with a constant stream of people in suffering from one thing or another. And so that's why I keep doing the gigs at the weekend, even
Totally.
though I'm shattered working two jobs and having two kids and a dog and a husband to all look after. But it's like I need that singing, the music for me. It's that little piece of me that's just for me and not for anybody else. So yeah, I understand that.
No, it's very, very important. And I think it's very important that passing on messages or doing healing like you do, you have to be all right yourself to be able
Mm,
to give that person what they need. And I think if you had let's say, a vibration of 0 to 10, if you're less than 5, I wouldn't be working that day. I would say,
yeah.
I'm not,
Day
it's
off.
something not right. Day off. You need to recharge your batteries for yourself as well. And then
Well, if you're no good for you, you're no good for anybody else, are you?
totally, you have to learn to fill up your cup. And I think if you don't, that's when you get burnt out and drained. In some mediums, I think you might have seen on Facebook things that you see, oh, they've set up, I'm doing it and doing it, doing it, like, and then they like crash after 6 months because they
Yeah.
don't charge the batteries or they don't close down or time off. For me, it's I've got to go in a bath, salt baths, clean my energy because I'm a water sign, and that's something that I need to recharge. And I think you'll find something that you need, like let's say singing and dancing, or it might be something else,
Yeah.
or walking in nature to recharge your batteries.
Oh,
That's
it's the
very
tree, it's the trees for me. It's the
yeah.
greenery.
I thought so.
Yeah. I've got to get in the woods. That's my place.
It's important, and I think that people that want to start connecting, they have to work on their own vibration first. I think people think, oh, I want to connect, and then they get frustrated, then they want to connect. But if your mind is buzzing 24/7 with thoughts, you can't create that space mentally to be able to focus on yourself, no mind,
Yeah.
spirit, or a connection. Not everyone's going to be a medium full time, but you can connect to your own guides and yourself better if you're at a better state yourself.
Well, it happens to me in treatments. It doesn't happen anywhere else other than when I'm
Yeah,
in a treatment. And as soon as I put my hands on somebody, I'll go, right, I know I've got so and so here, I've got so and so there. I can see them clear as day. And then I
yeah,
have just like a thought in my head that they're like sometimes a bit pushy, like you've got to say this at the end of the treatment. And then I say, I can't say that, I'll sound stupid. And they're like, just say it.
of course they
And then
do.
I'll say it at the end, and the people will be like, what? Yeah, that's absolutely 100% true.
Yeah,
It's
but that's
bonkers.
because your entrance, and they know that when you're at work, you have that energy to give. So you're opening your challenge to whatever that person needs to heal in that moment, and
Yeah,
everybody's different. And I think that's special because you find a lot of people that do spiritual work, they'll say, you can pay this session as psychic, you can pay this session as medium, you can pay this session of healing, you can pay this session or whatever else. And you're like, but what happens if that person picked that? But that's not really what they needed. They
yeah,
needed that. And I
yeah.
think that, like you'll do what that person needed at that moment in time. And next time it could be completely different because they changed.
Bang on. Spot
Oh,
on.
I agree. And I think that's why it found me a lot like years of pushing myself, like, why does this happen? Why is it different? And like being annoyed at it.
Yeah.
But now I've accepted that as a process and it's the best way for that person at that moment.
And I think that's it, isn't it? And I say this to people. I say, if you come back next week, it won't be the same. So don't have
But
any expectations of what's going to happen, because until you're there, I won't know what's going to happen. So we just
yeah,
go with the flow and see where it takes us.
I think that's very much about when people say, how many sessions will you need to cure anxiety or cure this?
Yeah.
Everyone's different, isn't it? I think someone might be all right after 2 sessions and then you're like, oh no, actually I feel like you need more. Do you find
Yeah.
that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just sometimes the shift in people after one session is so huge. you
Yeah,
won't see them again for weeks and weeks because they're just running on absolute like, oh my God, I'm free. And
yeah,
then others, it's just like chipping away a little, then a little, then a little, and it's a progression. So
yeah. I think it can be a progression as well, because some people, it's not just about the healing, it's also about the trauma that's behind that. In that
mm,
consciously, I'm never going to get better. They're telling themselves, I'm never going to get better. Joe's healing me, or whoever's healing me, I'm never going to get better. So they're never going to get better. It's going to be slow, because you're
mm,
telling yourself subconsciously, because you fully believe it.
yeah.
And I found that's a massive thing as well. The belief system people have changed since COVID.
Oh,
It's,
phew, I
it's
could need a whole other podcast on that subject.
yeah,
It
I,
really is. I see a lot of things in here. It's like my little happy corner of the world, I call it. Um, and oh, I can't obviously say anything because of client
yeah,
confidentiality. But yeah, people are going through it. People
they are
really are. And this is why I think what you do is just wonderful, because you're giving an outreach to people that are searching for something, that are looking for answers, that don't quite know,
yeah,
where they fit or what's going to come. And just the fact that you can either raise their vibration or give them a message or send them out just feeling better than they did when they came to you is just wonderful.
totally. And the same for you as well,
Yeah.
with your sessions as well. So that's really nice that we're putting the positive vibes in the world.
That's what it's all about. Let's raise the vibration.
Totally,
Like I say on this podcast, shining a light on healing in whichever form it comes in.
totally. I very much agree with that.
Oh, bless you. Do you know what? I could sit and talk to you all day, but I think we're running out of time now.
Yeah,
Just before we do wrap it up, because I have a lot of people that come in to see me that say, oh, I want to try to expand my spirituality or connect with spirit a bit more. If there was a little practice that they could do just every day to help them, what do you think would be the number one thing that they could do?
selenite crystal. It's the magic wand of crystals. I would buy the longer wand, so you can clean your body, so you can recharge your energy at the night time or in the morning, whenever you have that time to connect. Let's say to connect in any way or form. That would be good just to recharge your energy before even going into like a meditation. I think when people are so focused on the day of all the to-do lists or whatever, the partners, the relationship, the job, you can't calm your mind. So I think cleaning your energy first and then doing like a deep meditation. It could be, people think meditation, oh my goodness, I've got to do half an hour, I've got to do an hour. It's not like that. 5 minutes is at most is all right, as
Oh,
long
I
as
say that
you
every day.
like. Oh, totally agree. And I think that it's called the power of sitting. So sitting in the power would be a very big thing that I would say. You can find them on YouTube, because you're sitting in the power of the energy. So when you feel very low vibe, or you're a therapist or a healer, or you want to expand, you have to sit more in the power of feeling the energy of the universe, of the energy of yourself, and about recharging your own energy first. And once you start to feel the vibrations around your body, you can do that through meditation. You might fall asleep at the start. Then you will start to connect and feel the difference. That is a big thing. And then you can say, what message do I need to have today? Very short and simple. Don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
And it could be a word that you're given, but trust what you're given. Don't doubt it, because we do that mentally. Think and think and think. That's not possible. You need to just receive what you've got. And then once you've got the word or the feeling, or it might be a color, doesn't even have to be a word. It could be a color of what you need in that moment. And normally, for example, if it's the colors of the rainbow, let's say red, that could just be you working on grounding, feeling safe, feeling secure, and working on feeling stability for yourself, for example. But they're giving you a message in the way that you might think, oh, I'm really puzzled. That doesn't mean anything to me. Don't try to like focus in the meditation. Just write it down. Let's say you have a pen and piece of paper, or remind after you finish meditation to write it down and feel, what does that mean to me? Just say to yourself, what does that mean for me? I might, let's say if you're seeing a road, For you, Joe, what would a road mean to you?
I'm moving on forwards.
Lovely. Well, a road from mean I want to go on a little trip. A
Yeah.
road trip. Okay, so the message that you receive is specific for you, what you feel that connects to you. And I think
Yeah.
that sometimes always like searching, well, what do you think about that? Well, actually, what do you think about that? It's about connecting to your own self and receiving their messages, because they've given you that message in a way that you would understand for you. And I think that if you could every day write down the messages you get in your meditation, even if it's 5 minutes, and at the end of the week, look at all the messages that you've got and then see if it makes like a bigger picture. I think that was just a little small technique that you could do, just to start connecting to your own energy, to yourself, and then allowing your body to connect to your higher self or your guides or spirits. But try to just focus at the start, if you're just starting, on connecting to yourself and your higher self.
Oh, what lovely advice. Don't just stay and talk all day. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think spiritual world, there's so many different things that's mesmerizing on experiences. I just love it as well. Yeah, you could
I
stop.
do. She's got the biggest smile on her face, everybody. She's just like this big beam of sunshine. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for explaining to everybody about what you do and kind
Oh
of
well.
how it works. And I never realized that you had a tunnel of people in a queue, like a queue system in Spirit World.
But it can be. It doesn't always work in the flow that it's meant to. Sometimes they like try to bombard at this session because there can be a lot of people there. And it's about tuning into this one and then the next one, and telling you've got to wait, this is that, and you've got to be quite strong with them as well, boundary wise.
Stay back, it's not your turn.
like I know I see I just keep getting given like a guitar. It's a blue guitar, and he keeps saying, "You've got to keep it clean. You've got to clean it. You've got to clean it." And he's cleaning this guitar, and he's like, "Can you talk now?" He's telling me off.
What is that for me?
Is that your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like after the end, I just keep. But I've had this blue guitar in my head since this morning. But he's like chucking it right in front of my face now and going, "Clean the guitar, clean it." And he's saying about special songs and using new songs with the guitar. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, this is a conversation I have with my husband like every
Oh,
week. I've got, since my dad passed away, I've got some of his guitars, and currently one is on the wall and one is sat in my bedroom, and the kids pick it up and get their sticky fingers all over it. I
oh,
won't change the strings because they were last strings that he touched. So even though they're terrible and they need changing, I won't change them. And my
oh.
husband's like, just pick it up and play it. And I'm like, I can't.
Well, he wants me to. So
I
that's your
know.
day. He's like chucking it down onto the
Play the bloody guitar, Joe.
What is
I
it, blue?
haven't. He has got blue ones, yeah. The one in question that I want to play, it's a beautiful Takamine, and every time I try to pick it up, I can't. I just can't. So I've not played the guitar since he died. So
Well, it's time. It is time.
it's time. And it's funny because there's a load of songs in my head that I want to do at work and I want to play while I'm doing it, but I just know blocks up and I just can't do it.
Well, there you go. Because I play the new songs, so that makes sense to even the message of what you want to do.
It does. Yeah.
So yeah, he's sending you healing vibes to this. Like,
It's giving me a telling off.
yeah.
It changes.
And then there's a lovely lady with him, and she's got short hair, and she puts it behind her ear. She's very, very delicate in her clothes, and she highlights her stomach problems with the.
Yeah, that'd be me mum.
Well, she's sending you lots of love, and she's saying, "Stop worrying about your stomach."
Oh, I can't not stop worrying about my tummy.
Well, she wants you to try to calm your mind as best you can around that area.
Yeah.
Because just highlighting this, and she just keeps saying, "Beautiful bride." You got married though, didn't you?
I did, just before she died, yeah.
Oh, well, she just.
And before she went, she was at the wedding, but we all knew that what was coming because she was very, very poorly. And then
Oh,
she went into hospital soon after, and everything that happened, she couldn't remember the wedding because I'd put a picture of us as the
oh,
bride and mum of the bride by her bedside in the hospital. And she was like, "Who got married? Who's that?" And the whole memory of it had gone.
oh, well, obviously, maybe that's why she's bringing that
So,
today. That's obviously a thing that must have hurt you because she couldn't remember that moment.
yeah,
That was,
she had no recollection of the wedding at all. And it was literally a few months before.
oh, well, no, she's
So,
saying, right, and she keeps doing this with your hair and putting your hair behind her hair, which is when this lovely dress, and she's saying, beautiful bride, and touching your hair and making sure you're happy. And she's bringing,
ah,
so that's what I mean. It could be so little message. It doesn't mean anything to me, but it means something to you.
of
Um,
course.
and it's about not pushing the message like to try and get an answer, pushing what they've given you, and you're meant to, the person that's you're reading for, they're meant to understand because it's their messages. It's like a puzzle that I'm not. It's not my messages to totally unravel. It's yours.
Yeah,
So that made something completely sense to you and
it
to
does.
now, which is lovely. So they're both
Ah.
in sending love as well. There's also a little yappy dog as well. I keep hearing in
Oh,
spirit.
yeah, that'll be my granddad's. That'll be Pippa. She didn't out but yap. She was the noisiest thing going.
So they're like one, the next, the next. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the dad's come through, your mum's come through, but they're both together. But it was like I talk first, you talk, and now this, and it was so they're all around you now as well, and yeah,
Ah.
well, and
I
your
know
family.
they I know they're with me. I feel them every
Of
day.
course,
I smell my mum all the time. Like I'll get up and a waft of a perfume will come past me.
totally lovely
And then
because
like random songs of my dad will follow me like in a day. I'll go into a shop, his song will be on. I'll go into the car, his song will be on the radio, and it'll happen consecutively like 5, 6 times in the day. So I'm like, all right, I get the message.
but that's nice that you can understand the difference between them because one is music and one is smells.
Yeah,
Um, and every spirit will have their form of coming through in a different
yeah,
way.
yeah.
So that's lovely that you know the difference and you have the little signs of slush. I love
Oh,
it.
I love it. Oh, you've made me feel all squishy and warm inside now.
Good.
Thank you so much, my
Well,
darling.
well,
And
thank you for having me again.
if anybody wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
On Facebook or Instagram, it's Nicola Price, psychic medium and healer. But I also do like group healing, or it's on a specific theme, or like for example, this week we're doing on the sacral chakra, womb healing,
Oh,
people that have
nice.
sexual abuse, traumas, hormone period problems, endometriosis. Because what we do is we store emotions within our chakras or in an area specifically, and we release the emotions from that place. And it's done over like a period of a week, so you have a bigger shift at the end.
Fabulous.
And then there's
Oh,
tips and
count
tools
me in.
to focus, tips and tools to focus on helping that specific problem or
Oh,
area.
sign me up. I'll
Oh,
tell you what I'll do. I'll pop the link for your Facebook page in the podcast. So if people want to come and have a look or join, then they've got the link there that they can
I really
send a
appreciate
message to. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, my darling. And like I said, if you want to reach out to Nicola, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to drop you a message and help you with anything that maybe you could chat about.
definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my darling. Take care.
Bye.
And there we go, everybody. That was the lovely Nicola Price, all the way from sunny Newcastle. Well, I've had a brilliant session talking to her today, and I was not expecting a message from my mum and dad, so that was extra special. And behind the scenes, what you didn't see was I think there were so many spirits around us during this chat. They kept messing up all the laptop, they kept messing it, stopping it, starting it. So if you hear a few little jiggles here and there, you know what it was. So that's it from me today, everybody. And all I want to say is I'm just so happy to be surrounded by such wonderful people, my purple people, as I call them. I really do know some blooming amazing people. I feel blessed. I really do. So I'm going to love you and leave you, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Please do join into the next podcast where I am going to be speaking to the fabulous Di Wilson. She is my mentor. She is my teacher. She is a master energy healer, a businesswoman, a mom, and a general all-round amazing woman. So you're going to want to tune in. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.